Here we are in part 2, talking about this I Choose You song and recording them through my capo on.
That's okay.
Thanks, bro. And it seemed like your capo, the answer was just don't put it on the middle, but between, and just one more click in.
Okay.
So our rhythm 4, which is where we left off in the first video, is the one that we're playing in this song, and I do not want you trying this until you're all pretty competent at working at the first 3 rhythms that were a lot more mechanical and less interesting. Down, down, up, up, down, up. Down, down, up, down, up. 1, 2, and 4, and. So, like, if you can actually do that verbally, it'd be psyched. But we can think in sections. That's what we're doing. I'm going down, down, up, down, up. So don't put too much weight on the memorizing this part. Like, just be bored and memorize it really quickly, and get good at doing it one single time, pausing in between, reassessing. Just try not to overthink it once you have the sequence memorized, and memorizing the sequence itself is only difficult if you're thinking about playing at the same time. So it's down, down, up, down, up. At first, any of those 2 ups in a row are going to seem counterintuitive. It sounds like and we're not doing it, but we're just go for one good one, and it's going to feel weird to end on the upbeat and like going and 4 and not hitting again, but that's what you're going to do. And then you're going to go twice. And then you're going to get where you can loop that like it's easy. And if you do the first 2 steps, it'll be a lot easier than it has been. You can just theoretically be doing this, but it sounds cooler to play a chord. So yeah, right at 2 minutes in, we're going to start talking about the song. The battery's not very low, except if you don't plug that shit in. Alright, so awesome. In this song, we're playing that rhythm. We're hitting all the strings. First, I would like to pretend that the song just consists of 3 chords. There's the G5, stereo instructions for the 2nd chord. Your middle finger does nothing, your first finger moves up 1 string, and that's simple move on its own. It sounds alright, but it doesn't sound like Here's My New Song goes like this. But we're on our way to this E minor, and this is just like Wonderwall with these 2 fingers. The first rhythm that I'd written out was the Wonderwall rhythm for number 4.
Oh.
We're just gonna, I was like, dum dum jig jiggy. This is better though to start with. So. Here's the thing. If we were doing actual big sprawling chord changes like we're going to need to in the second half, we'd be doing the full-on open string like we discussed. But here's me in slow-mo, you know? And yeah, you want to make sure this finger's still chilling out, because E minor like that. You could also just be like, this happens, this happens, just with your left hand. Cool. So, first, here's where the song ends. And you're going to want to do that 5 more times than what's intuitive before you move on.
Okay.
Then, contrary to what seems intuitive, you're going to pretend the song starts on the 2nd chord and just work this. Using the same exact process, going directly at the hard bit. You see where that's going. And then you'll do the same thing for going back to the beginning of the song. That'll be the biggest, you know, and theoretically. And then, so there's the first half. So twice as much E minor. Right at 4:20 in this video, we're starting the second half. And I want you to just be really good at the first half. If you don't even get to here, there was like a song that went that way, getting good at that, and then moving on to this would be way better than trying to do all of it, sort of. But you got to tweak your own efficient to fun ratio. So next 3 shapes is the C1, which is identical to the G1. It's just like if I was playing C, it's G but crunched up like that. This has the same notes from this, just with different fingers. And then it goes back to G, easy change, and then we actually have to go to D. So there's our first and only big change in the song. First, let's notice, so that's, C. So one thing is, let's notice that your ring finger does stay there in all of those chords. Your ring finger, when you go to D, it's going to be like that. So theoretically, you can pin it there. And that's going to be the hardest chord change, and it's cool we're getting to it last. It's going to be G to D, and this is where that concept of the open strum is going to come in more of its traditional role, when I'm going, so, and that can be like, boring, out of rhythm, as long as you can hear it in your head how it should go. Worst possible thing, moving on prematurely, just do some really boring little sections. So there's section 2, approach it like a separate song that starts there. It's the C and the G and then D. So regarding D, where we know we're supposed to just hit 4 strings, we're going to sacrifice that in favor of just moving decisively. Same thing with C. You want to just play thumb defense on those 2 chords, and I made a point to not bring it up until now. Just swing away, and if you hit extra strings, it really doesn't matter that much. Here's a C where you mess it up. Still kind of sounds okay. Here's a D where you mess it up. Not so much, but it's really easy for D to just touch the bass string. And if you go 1 extra string, totally sounds fine. In D, it's that one where it's a clinker. So yeah. There we go. Or it could be minor change, not this, just I'm touching that string.
Okay.
Here's the hardest thing in this song. And that makes, second half, there you go, work on just that, including where you zoom in on just, well, first of all, just going like this painstakingly until your brain says I can do that. That's implied in everything I said here, is that that's the process we're using, is first you go over the left-hand changes. It just turned out that the song was pretty straightforward until now, but boom, boom, bing, bing, boom. So you've already kind of thought about that, and you've already gotten good at the rhythm before we try to do it all together, just by following the video in the order I'm trying to get you to do it in. So there we are. Playing what she is. And when the band kicks in, you could actually, if you get up to tempo with it, you can play along. You have been guitar lessoned.